Get the cake right to the side sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. On the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Du Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Du Valley.
Good evening, everybody. We are in for a treat tonight. We've only got 3 people on the show because this is a special head-to-head between our 2 Dans. Daniel Spedding, our resident Sunderland fan, and Brighton Dan, as you can all see, is our Brighton fan. We are going to split the show into segments and we're going to rate them. Whoever wins the most segments and answers the questions best will win the head-to-head. And we're going to quickly put it over to the boys just to say their hellos to everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Bit Dan-on-Dan violence about to happen. It's what we love.
Yeah, evening, everyone. Let's see who real Dan is here, shall we?
And I think it's only apt that we start the night with our combined 11. So I'm going to go through the teams. This is the most played 11 for both teams. They're going to have a quick discussion and see if they can come to an agreement. If they can't come to an agreement, I'll have the final say, judging on how they've put that player's case and how I judge the player. And also, we want you to, the viewers, to get involved as well. You let us know what your thoughts are on the players. Apologies for my light in the background. I will try and resolve that as the night goes on. But we're going to kick off with the combined 11. So, starting in net for Brighton, Verbruggen, and Sunderland's Roos. Have I pronounced that right, Dan?
Yeah, Robin Roos. That's the one.
Okay, so over to you, boys.
Well, I'll start with this one. I think Robin Roos has been a top 3 Premier League goalkeeper this season. He is 22-year-old, signed for $9.5 million. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to be a Sunderland player for too many more seasons, but I think value-wise, you could argue he's been the best goalkeeper this season.
What did you buy him for, Dan?
9.5. 22-year-old. Future Dutch number 1.
I think City got Donnarumma for 16 million.
All right, well, he's got a big horrible nose, hasn't he? So
I'm sorry, I had to get that in there. So that's a strong case for Roos. Brighton fan Dan, where you stand with your keeper?
I mean, where do we begin with Bart Verbruggen? Like, he's our number 1 goalkeeper for a reason. He's kept a lot of clean sheets. He's kept us in a lot of games this season. Without him in goal, I feel like we drop further down this table. We wouldn't be where we are.
I think he's a good keeper.
His ball distribution is probably one of the best. And I know there's a lot of stats going around about, but Bart Verbruggen's like top 3 for the longest having the ball. If you actually watch him, he's not holding the ball. He has the ball at his feet. So it's different to holding the ball like other goalkeepers would be. And he's actually set up a goal in this season. He set up Karu Matoma. I think it was against Chelsea. Don't quote me on that, but it was straight from his goal kick. He controlled it, and we scored from it. So for me, in terms of a goalkeeper that does great goal distribution, contributes, and can keep clean sheets, Bart Verbruggen.
So are you saying, Brighton fan Dan, you would have Verbruggen over Roos?
If I had to choose one, purely because of, as I say, I didn't really hear about like contributions to clean sheets and things from Dan, and I don't know a lot about Roos, so I do apologise. I'd have to go with Verbruggen.
Please allow me to educate. Sunderland have conceded only 30 goals this season in the Premier League. We've conceded less goals than Man United, Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, and a lot of that is down to Robin Roos. We mentioned distribution. I don't know if Roos actually has an official assist this year. However, if Wilson Isidore could finish his dinner, he would have definitely got one at Anfield in the last minute. lovely ball. And I think the biggest compliment I can give to Roof's distribution is, unfortunately, he's injured for a couple of weeks at the moment. And we've run out of ideas of how to get up the pitch. Without him, it's so much harder for us as a team to get up the pitch.
So, Dan, you're sticking with your keeper, and Brighton fan Dan, you're sticking with yours, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is going to be down to me to make the call on this one. And for me, this is one of the easier calls. And there's two reasons for that. My decision is it's Roofs. And that is because if Verbruggen was that good, your other keeper, is it Steele?
Jason Steele, yeah.
He's played a lot of games. Verbruggen hasn't nailed down that spot. And Sunderland fan Dan did make the better argument as well. I do think Roos is a better keeper, but I do think Verbruggen is a strong keeper as well. So Roos edges it. Apologies, Brighton fan Dan.
All right.
Okay, we're next on to the player. Apologies if I pronounce this wrong. Kadaglu?
Ferdi Kadioglu.
There you go. Thank you for that. And I've got Hume for you, Dan.
So I'm not going to profess to be an expert on Verdi Kagahulu or Kagahulu, whatever he's called. Agadoo, I don't know. Trey Hume, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been with us since League One. He stepped up. There were a lot of question marks about him coming in the season, but he's been one of two players that we've stuck with in the Championship. He's nailed down his spot in his starting 11 at right back. If you love a good old-fashioned tackle, Trey Hume's your man. He's managed to get away with it and not get sent off this year. We have slightly experimented with him in like a Roman midfield position, which he tends to get in the right area. If I'm being completely honest, I think his finishing ability is not quite there. But as a right back, I think he's incredibly solid and he's very strong in the tackle.
Brighton.
Well, I mean, you've got an easier person to say, so there you go. That's but no, for me, Turkish lad, Kadioglu, what a player. He really is the most versatile player in our team, and that's saying something because we've had a lot of quality. But obviously focusing on him, again, like I said with Verbruggen, if you haven't seen half of his goal line clearances, that especially the Burnley one, especially the Wolves one, he did one against Chelsea. He's in the right position in time to help us. Not only that, he's a cracking wing back that can get up the pitch and whip an incredible ball into the likes of Danny Welbeck or switch the ball to Matoma. In terms of his defending attributes, he's probably one of the best players that we've had in a very, very long time. As I say, he is versatile. He does get played on both sides, left and right. But when he does play down that right flank, not many people get past him. And when they do, he doesn't just go, oh, they've gone past me. He's got an amazing work ethic and he will get back. And that's what I really like about him. Like, a lot of players will be like, oh, I've lost the ball or I've done a mistake and drop their heads. He will continue throughout the entire game until he gets subbed off. And he rarely does get subbed off. So for me, he's a top quality player. And that is my argument for that.
Okay, so just to summarise then, are you both going with your team's players?
Yeah, I don't know enough about the Brighton lad to pick him over Hume, if I'm completely upfront and honest.
Brighton?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with this one. I don't know anything about those two players. I've not seen much of them play. I can only base this on your arguments. And I'm going to give Brighton the edge on the argument. So, what's his name again, Brighton fan Dan?
Ferdi Kadioglu.
Kadioglu gets in. Okay, next player. We've got Van Heck versus Mukiele.
You can go first this time, Brighton, Dan.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Van Hecker, man, he's what a centre back he is. Honestly, if you want a player that's going to put their body on the line to stop the ball, to prevent attacks, he's your man. He is probably one of the best players in terms of, again, his work ethic. But not only that, he's a team player. He's not an individual. He is a team player. And in the absence of Dunk, when Lewis Dunk doesn't play, he is our captain, and he does not just do it once. He will be grabbing everyone for the halftime team talk to grab everyone before the game. They'll be on the halfway line, and he's instructing the players. So for me, in Lewis, if we haven't got Dunk in his absence, we've got a leader in Van Hecker, and that's what we want. And as our song about him goes, there's nobody better than Jan Paul Van Hecker. So over to you, Dan.
So, Nori Mukiele. So, I can comfortably see it. Nori Mukiele has been Sunderland's second best player this season. We all know who number one is. We'll come on to him in a little bit. But Nori, he is an all-round athlete. He can play right back. We played him right wing sometimes. He wins everything in the air. He can carry the ball. He can get up the pitch. He stretches defences. He doesn't miss anything. He's strong as an ox. The bloke could play in a war zone. The amount of times he goes down and gets up, it's ridiculous. There's a reason Nori is in most people's FPL teams, and that's because he's doing it this season. He's an underrated gem, and I will die on the sword of Nori Mukiele.
So again, you're both sticking with your players, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so this is down to me to pick. I do know both these players. I've watched both of these players play. One has been in the Premier League a little bit longer than the other. However, who I'm going to give the vote to here, and it's nothing to do with the argument, I'm going to give it to who I think has been the better player this season, and that is Mukiele. One of the easier ones for me there. Okay, down to the next one. Dunk versus Alderete.
Go on, Dan.
Well, we've got contrasting styles here because Lewis Dunk could only do what Omar Alderete could do with a ball in his dreams. Let's be honest. He's a good old English centre-half. Omar Alderete, Paraguayan lad, signed him from Getafe. I'll be honest, we'd never heard of him. On his day, he could play in a Pep Guardiola team. He is so calm on the ball. He's not just calm, he's strong in a tackle. He's a monster in the air. The amount of times he's brought the ball out of defence and creating attacks and got assists this season. As I say, thankfully, our strikers don't score that many. Otherwise, he'd be off in the summer.
Brighton?
I mean, when you think of Brighton and you think of someone that's one of our own, there's only one man that comes to anyone's name, and that is Lewis Dunk. He's a captain for a reason. He's been with us right through our academy. As the song goes, he is our own player. But he may not be the quickest now because obviously he's getting on in age, but his heart, everything he does is for the team. He's a leader. He'll track back. He will do tactical fouls, but not because he wants to get yellow cards, because he knows it's for the good of the team. He can score when he wants to. I mean, he scored that famous free kick against Liverpool a few seasons ago, which they tried to write off because the referee was like, I didn't blow my whistle in time, but he did blow his whistle. For me, if you want a player that's going to lead your team, if you want someone that's also been capped for England, Lewis Dunk is your man.
Okay, so for the fourth time in a row, you're both going with your own players, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, this is a really hard one for me because I hear what you're saying, Dan, Sunderland Dan, about Alderete and his style of football on the ball. And I think Dunk is one of the most underrated centre-halves in the league. I think he should have got more England call-ups, but he is getting on. So I've got the consistent Dunk, who does pop up with goals, a leader, captain, who I rate quite highly, and then you've got this up-and-coming Alderete. So who do I give the point to? I have made my mind up who I'm going to give it to, and it's for one reason and one reason alone, and that is I think Alderete's dropped off a little bit in the last few games. I think early in the season, he was standout, but I think the last 5 games or so, he's not been as consistent as he was earlier on in the season. Would you say that's fair, Dan?
He's recovered a bit now, but he did slow down for a month or so. The old AFCON schedule got to him a little bit.
So for that reason, I have to go Dunk, but by a hair. So I'm going to give it to Dunk. Next player, Estupiñán and Mandana. Who's going first?
So Reinildo, I think he's Mandan is his surname, but he just goes by his first name. Look, if you're a left back for a Diego Simeone team for many a year, there's one thing you're doing right, and that's defending. For me, Reinildo, he's not of the calibre, but he reminds us a little bit of Ashley Cole. I'm not saying he's as good as Ashley Cole, don't get me wrong, but even in his 30s, he's so hard to beat. I've barely seen anyone get the better of a one-on-one with him this season. Not only that, when he gets the ball, he drives into space, he gets us up the pitch. He might have a little bit of a dodgy moment in a minute here there. He's got a little bit of housery in him, but he's a model professional. We got him on a free, and we definitely wouldn't have had such a good defensive record this season without him.
Brighton fan Dan.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt, but we don't have this opinion anymore.
All right. Who's the fullback now?
Well, we have multiple. So we have Maxime de Kuiper.
Right. Well, who do you want to argue the case for?
We'll put Maxime de Kuiper.
Okay, go for it.
So so he plays in that position now. What to say about Maxime de Kuiper? Well, he's versatile. He doesn't moan when he's not being played. He can also play as a left mid, so he can cover that position as well. He is known for goal scoring as well. He scored against Nottingham Forest when we went to them away and won 2-0 up there. His passing, his dribbling, and his defensive attributes are really good combination because not only is he quick, but he does not get scared to put his foot in and win the ball back. And for me, that is what I like about our defense in general, is the fact that it doesn't matter who we're playing. No one shies away from a tackle. No one shies away from getting involved. And with him in particular, with his pace, as I say, like very rarely does he get someone get past him.
So between you boys, who are we putting in there, or can you not agree again?
I'm not conceding on our defence. Our defence is top notch.
Van Dan?
Well, I have to go with Maxime de Kuiper.
Bloody hell, you're putting me on the spot again here. Again, I don't know a lot about these two players. I'm really going off what you've told me in your arguments. And Sunderland Dan gave the better argument. I'm going to go with him.
What formation are we playing, by the way, just out of interest?
Well, both teams either play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. So I've sort of amalgamated the two.
Okay. Works for me.
But we'll see as the players go, and if there's a difference and you want to change a player, then we can do. And if you want to put a player in that's already on the list, I'll tell you. The next one, again, is a tough one, but we'll see how unbiased you both can be. Brighton fan Dan, you've got Belabor, and Sunderland Belabor, and you've got Xhaka.
Oh.
I want Brighton fan Dan to argue this one first.
Okay, well, let me just put this out there right now. There's a reason that Man United, Chelsea, and a few other clubs came in with heavy bids for him. He, on his day, is probably one of the best defensive midfielders or central midfielders, depending on which way you want to spin it. For me, anyways. And I'm saying that because of the way that he can interrupt the play, the way that he brings the ball down, the way that he doesn't just play for him. He looks for passes. He can hold up the ball. He'll wait for runners to get on in behind him. As I said, this is when he's on his day. The other half of it, when he's not playing well, awful. Honestly, I'm putting out that if he's not on his day, he's not great. But when he's on his day, you can see why teams want him in their team, because at the end of the day, you want a player that's going to be able to make that decision to break up play. You want a player that's going to make a difference. You want a player who's not just going to break up an attack, but then look to counter-attack. Belabor is that player. He will look forward. He'll track back. he doesn't just walk back, he runs back. Like the game that we just played against Arsenal, he lost the ball on the halfway line and still tracked back to stop Verbruggen from getting lobbed like late on in the game. Other players would have just disappeared or gone, oh, I've made a mistake, and then not done anything. So for me, for his work ethic, for his commitment to the team, and the fact that he can track back and not just play it like sit in defensive midfield, he's a top quality player, as I say, on his day.
So just before I move to Sunderland, Dan, do you believe Belieber should be in the combined 11 over Xhaka?
I rate Xhaka. I do. And this is tough to say because, as I say, Belieber on his day, all day it's Belieber. On when he went to obviously the AFCON, when he played out there, it was phenomenal. But since he came back from there, something's not been right with him. So if you're asking me for the here and now, and obviously how the season's gone since he's come back, Xhaka. I'll admit it. I'll choose Granit Xhaka just because I know that with Xhaka you're going to get. I know Dan's going to talk about it, but for me personally, he's one of those players that will split defensive with one ball, one through ball, and whoever's up front will be in.
I mean, before we move on to Sunderland, Dan, the reason why I think it's Xhaka as well is you said it twice in your speech there, on his day.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that with Xhaka. You know you're going to get a 7 out of 10 every week, and sometimes better with the goals and the leadership that he provides. A lot more consistent. And I know he's in the sort of like the twilight of his career, if you like, and Belieber's got his best days ahead of him. But like you said, the here and now, it's Xhaka. But enough of me talking here. Let's get the Sunderland fan to talk about how good a signing Xhaka's been. And I did predict this at the start of the season, by the way.
Well, first of all, I do want to say I feel a little bit bad for Carlos Belieber because if he went up against someone else, you'd have probably had an argument. But against Xhaka, I don't think there is one. Look, as a newly promoted side, when we signed someone who finished 16th in the Ballon d'Or just 2 years ago on the back of an invincible season, I was like, okay, this could be interesting. I'll be absolutely honest, I did not realise how good he was on the ball. I always thought of him as a real bruiser, good engine, but he's magnificent with the ball, the amount of line-breaking passes he plays. And it's not just the fact that he's a 7 out of 10. Everyone else on the pitch goes up one when he's there. When he's not there, we lose track of our roles. People aren't 100% sure what they should be doing. But when he's there, there's just clarity. Clarity across the pitch. Everyone knows the job. And
I mean, I've not followed him week in, week out for 90 minutes like a Sunderland fan would. A lot of the time, it's just highlights. But, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Dan, I remember him at Arsenal where he had some disciplinary problems picking up cards and red cards and what have you. I've not seen much of that. He seems...
No, I mean, he gets the odd yellow, but any centre mid will, especially in a team where you're not going to have a lot of the ball. But no, I mean, there's the story about how we signed him in the summer. We were in Switzerland and somehow our chairman managed to get his number and called him off a Swiss mobile phone and sold him the project, if you're going to be our leader in 20 minutes. And he was in...
Do you think that's why he's relishing that now? He's like the top boy. He's the leader. He's the one that's...
That's absolutely what he was sold. You come to the Premier League, you be our captain, see if you can keep us in the Premier League. And he's bought right into it. And thankfully, the other players have as well. That's the important thing. But yeah, he knew he was coming here to be the top boy and run the team. And when you've went from playing in League One and all of a sudden you've got Granit Xhaka training next to you, your standards just go up.
I think I said to you before the season started, Dan, he'll be one of the signings of the season, and I think that's been proven.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he'd be one, but top three. I think on anyone's list, he's in the top three.
So, is this the first one we're both agreed on? Right, Xhaka gets in the team?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, that leads us on to Gomez for Brighton. Yeah?
Yeah, Gomez, yeah.
And Siddiqui. Sunderland, Dan, will come to you to make your case.
So I'm going to make a big claim here. In 2 years' time, Noah Siddiqui will go to a Man United or a Chelsea for 80, 90 million. He's absolutely brilliant, the boy. 21 years old, looks like a little kid still. He's got his braces on, but he has an engine on him. He's great carrying the ball forward. He tracks back. If I am being fair to Brighton, Dan, I will point out, I think he lost a little bit of his identity when Jacques has been out and he's been forced to play in the more holding role. I think he needs to mature into that position a little bit, if I'm honest. But at his age, I'm not concerned about. But when he has Xhaka next to him, when he has that wise head next to him, he's absolutely brilliant. I mean, 70% of the earth's covered by water, the rest's covered by Noah Siddiqui. I've got no more to say.
Brighton fan Dan.
Well, Diego Gomez, what a player. I mean, I think a lot of people, when we signed him from Miami, because obviously he's played with Messi and players like that, were a bit skeptical as to what drew him to us. But since he's been playing with us and since he's joined Brighton, he's only just improved with every game. Like, okay, you can look at, I'm going to bring you into this, Carl. You can look at the Man City game when he missed the absolute sitter right in front of the goal. But you take that away, in the Carabao Cup, he scored, four goals on his own, one of which from near the halfway line. His versatility and just tactical awareness is brilliant, especially when it comes to, am I gonna run into trouble here, or should I play a pass and then receive the ball back? He's not afraid to take a shot as well. Like, a lot of people will be getting on players' backs because we just pass. He'll actually have a shot, and it might go into Rosette, but he's had a shot, and that's what we look for. As I say, in terms of how he's been with us, and for this, obviously, what we're talking about, his skill level as well and his control of the ball, for me, is one of the best. When he's got that ball and he touches it into his feet and controls it and takes on one or two players, you're thinking, we really needed this, and he's sort of the glue that fits the team together. Like, you always need that person that's going to be there. And as I said earlier, if it was the other way around, this was Gomez versus Xhaka or Bleep, there might be a different story. But for me, Gomez, with his goal contribution, the fact that he's not just a selfish player, the fact that he is a team player, let's say he's versatile, he's tactile, and he always looks up for a pass and a return. Those are the reasons that I'm saying Diego Gomez.
Okay, so just to summarise, yes, I am drinking champagne.
Hello, Tom.
Are you both sticking with your own players?
I am going to. I think this one's a tricky one because I think they're different players. I think Diego Gomez is better going forward, but I don't think he's half as good as Siddiqui going back. So I'm happy to let the ref adjudicate. I think that this one's a tricky one.
Let's go to the ref.
This, again, is a tricky one. I've seen both players play, but I've not seen loads of them. So before you finish your cases, I was edging Siddiqui. And then with Dan saying now that he would let me decide, makes me think it's a little more closer than I thought. I'm going to go Siddiqui. I'm sorry, Brighton fan Dan. And the only reason is I've seen a little bit more of him, and he looks a better player. And I've not seen a lot of both of them. They're both young, and they both got a lot more learning, and they're going to get better. But from what I've seen, I'm going to edge Siddiqui. Okay, next one. Got Gross versus Lefay.
Oh, I've got to take on a Brighton legend here, haven't I?
Yeah, good luck.
We'll let Sunderland fan Dan try this one.
So, Enzo Lefay, without a doubt, is our most creative player. We signed him in the Championship for 20 million, and he showed some flashes of brilliance. However, some people are just made for the Premier League, and he's improved leaps and bounds in the Premier League. It suits his game so much more. He's good on the ball. He gets assists. He gets goals. Not only that, though, he has an absolute engine on him. You know, you think you've got a French midfielder who's good with the ball. You don't expect him to be doing the dirty work and tracking back. He does. He gives 100%. He's made one blip this season, which I've forgiven him for. He takes penalties. He gets goals. He gets assists. Enzo Lafay, better than Zidane, as they say in the stands.
Okay, Brighton fan Dan.
Yeah, well, you are taking on one of our all-time players. I mean, I had to face Xhaka, so it had to happen at some point, didn't it? I mean, what can you not say about Pascal Gross? Obviously, he is probably one of Brighton's best signings. I know that we sent him to the Bundesliga. Even when he played in the Bundesliga, he was still tearing it up. Like, he's incredible. I'm so glad he's come back. His set pieces are amazing. Like, his free kicks are second to none. The chance creation that this lad can do at his age is phenomenal. And again, like I've said, his pinpoint accuracy of passes, you don't expect him to be able to ping the ball 30, 40 yards. And he can. And then even the fact that he can sprint at his age, he's still tracking down to the byline. He's still getting back to help the defense. He's still one of the greatest players that Brighton will probably ever sign. And the fact that he came back to us after we put him in the Bundesliga and he's still killing it in the Premier League, in my opinion, says everything you need to know. And the best thing about him, he's got the Gross turn. Now, if you haven't seen him do it, it's like the Cruyff turn, but it's better. And he will do that to defenders. He'll do it to midfielders. He doesn't matter who you are. He'll say, come on then. And he'll turn around. And the respect, the claps that he gets every time he touches the ball. There's plenty more. I feel like for me as well, like the fact that when we first had him, he was playing right back. He wasn't even playing in that midfield. He was our right back. And for him to be versatile to now be obviously his main midfielder, the fact that he's still playing the Prem, phenomenal. It's just showing the longevity of his career. And honestly, as a Brighton fan, when he re-signed, I was buzzing. I could not wait for that first day that he got his name back on that team sheet and was back playing for us. And we knew exactly why, because again, pinging the ball, he can help defend even though he's at that age where you're thinking, hang on, you should be leaving this to the 20-year-olds. He can still trap back, he can still be a defensive midfielder, he can still do his set pieces, and he obviously does his gross turns, which is very funny. But his technical ability is next to none, especially for someone his age. So there we go.
Are you both for your own players?
In the interest of fairness, I think I'd probably take Enzo, but I think I got a close one with Siddiqui. And after that passionate speech about Gross, I'm willing to concede that one out in the interest of. I don't think we can have a Sunderland midfield three in the middle. I think 2-1 is probably a more fair representation.
If you'd have gone for your own player, I'd have give it Gross, Dan, marginally anyway, because purely because when we spoke about consistency, I think Gross is consistent, and I made the argument for Xhaka on his consistency. I would have made the argument for Gross going the other way on that one. So you both agree, though, which is good.
Yep.
And Gross gets in. Okay, we've got 3 players left. And Brighton, you need all 3 of these to get in to win the combined 11. The next player is Matoma versus Taibbi. Why are you laughing, Dan?
Matoma, interesting.
I mean, do you want to just call it Taibbi and we'll move on? You don't want to convince yourself at the moment.
No, obviously, I'll say what I was going to say, but
refill.
I'm honestly with Matoma. It's that same thing I said with Belieber. On his day, he's incredible, but if we're going on recent form, he hasn't hit his form. What we know he can hit, and I don't know if it's tiredness, fatigue, whatever, but 10 games ago, like 5-10 games ago, probably would have said Matoma, but right now, I just can't. Based on his current form, I can't defend him right now. Like he looks scared to take on players, and you can't have that in a midfielder, like a left midfielder.
In the interest of fairness, I could just sit here and say Talby's the best and probably win just by lying, but Talby's very good. He is a little bit inconsistent because he's only 21. However, what the boy has and what you can't teach is you can't teach someone how to score important goals.
Mm.
We went away to Liverpool. He scored from 30 yards. Last minute against Chelsea, he scored that one. Burnley cuts inside, takes 2 on, curls at top bins. He also works extremely hard tracking back. One of the absolute unconditional things of being in a Sunderland team is you have to work hard defensively, and that's why Reggie Lebree picks him. So for me, I think Talby, he's young, he's still working on it, but he has stepped up in big moments and he's definitely won us points. And I think he works very hard tracking back. So I'd nominate Talby based on that.
Brighton Van Dan, are you going for your team, your player?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
You concede in the combined 11?
Well, like I said, based on current form, I can't defend Matoma.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd have backed your player, I would have given it to Matoma. And the reason I would have given it to
recently.
Yeah, but class is permanent, and I do think he's a class player.
Oh yeah, he's probably one of the best. But if we're going about like how he is as a player in general, then yeah, he's heaps and bounds one of the best players.
I mean,
there.
Recent form has got to come into it, but I mean, you're not a bad player overnight, and I think both players are quite tricky and inconsistent, and on the day the world beaters, but I think they can throw in some bad performances. But
I think that's just the modern day winger, though, really, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. So I'll ask you again, Brighton Van Dan, what are you going with?
Matoma.
Oh, I feel stitched up a bit there. Feel like I've been done a bit dirty.
You have been done a bit dirty, but Matoma's going in. Okay, last two. Now, this player here, Brighton Van Dan, I've got Rutter, but you can put Welbeck in if you want. Which one do you want to make the case for?
Welbeck.
Okay. So we'll put Welbeck in there. And Sunderland, Dan, you've got Mayenda.
I'd put Brobby in there.
Who?
Brian Brobby.
Who?
Okay. Robbie.
Yep.
Okay, let's hear your arguments, boys.
Go on, Dan.
So I'll be honest, this is Danny Welbeck. I can't lie, but I'm still going to have a little rant about Brobby. Tom. Stan, I was Stanley. Anyway, so Brian Brobby, he's a 24-year-old kid who we have from Ajax. He's built like a fridge freezer. He's absolutely massive, and he's a defender's nightmare. He's had some tricky personal circumstances. If anyone's watching and wants to learn a bit of his personal information, it's out there to have a read of what happened to him in Ajax and why he needed to get away. So we've got him at the Stadium of Light. We've got him in a place he's starting to feel loved. He's starting to pop up with a goal or two. If you asked me, would I swap Brian Brobby for Danny Welbeck at this stage in the career? Not a chance. But I think Welbeck's got the edge on him over the course of this season because of the goals he scored.
Okay, Brighton Van Dam.
It's Danny Welbeck. But for me, he's starting to get consistent. I mean, he's built a longevity in terms of his career of playing in the Premier League. So he's got loads of experience. That's not the word I was looking for, something else, but came from the head. Anyways, he's been around, let's say, in the Prem. He's one of those players that's a leader. He's someone that can finish on it. You know, he will finish for you. I'm still going to put in the argument that he should be playing for England. I don't care. That might be controversial, but I still feel like he deserves it. His form's been really good. I feel like he's considered one of the best strikers up there in the Prem, but obviously not like of all time. But like if you had to have him in your team, you would, because you want someone that knows where the goal is, and Danny Welbeck does. He's trouble for defenders. Like you talk about Robbie. Welbeck's got some strength behind him as well. He's not easy to body off a ball. He can hold up the ball. He'll go down for fouls. He's very versatile in that respect. And of course, he's not just going to score your tap-ins. He can score from anywhere if he gets the chance to shoot. He scored from like outside the box and things for us as well. So for me, because obviously the experience in the Prem and who he's played for and his legacy, if you like, is Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can't knock Danny Welbeck for, he's never going to score you 25, 30 goals a season,
No.
but I mean, he's ultra consistent. He works his arse off. He'll
Yep.
run all day for you. He puts away chances, and it is Welbeck. Okay, I just to let you know, I have had a few messages, a few texts sent to me as well from a couple of mates who are watching, and they've had a go at me on the Matoma shout. So I'm actually going to split that position to Sunderland and Brighton. So you're going to have sort of like half a player each, if that makes sense.
You've just got VAR done.
I did get VAR. Yeah, they were having a go at me as a referee, saying I wasn't using VAR correctly. So as it stands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 for Brighton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 for Sunderland. This is the last player. If Brighton wins it, it's tied, and we'll go to a 30-second talk of who's edged it.
We could do managers.
It's an outright win. And the last two players I've got here are Minter and Adingra. Is that right, Dan?
He's went to Monaco now. I'll chuck in Bertrand Traore.
Traore, okay.
Of course, you don't want to bring in Adingra.
He's doing all right at Monaco.
I'd be helping you, wouldn't I, in your argument?
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll start with Bertrand Traore. So, I have to be completely honest, we signed Bertrand Traore and Brian Brobby in a package deal on the last day of the summer window. I was like, Bertrand Traore, he's a bit of a journeyman. He's been around. I wasn't particularly over the moon when we signed him. However, when you watch that lad play with the ball at his feet, there's a reason he's been at some top European clubs. He's the old man that we need. He's actually a lot better on the ball than I thought. Some of his passing, his eye for goal, his shooting, it's brilliant. And if you look at the form, guys, since the end of AFCON, he's been injured, and there's a reason we've struggled in the wings, and it's because he's not there anymore. We've lost the consistency. He might not get you many 9 out of 10s, but he's a solid 7 week in, week out. He tracks back, he works hard, he always picks the right pass. He's one of them. He just does the simple things right, time and time again.
Brighton fan, Dan?
Yankuba Minte. Well, as you know, came from Newcastle. Signed him from Newcastle. He's
should be negative points.
He is very, very, very good with the ball. There's a reason that he has the amount of assists that he does and the goals he does, because one thing that players that he plays against are struggling with is to keep up with his pace. That you can't argue with. His versatility, he can swap. What tend to do is we'll swap Matoma and Minte if they both get on the pitch at the same time. So he might play on the left, he might play on the right. His crossing ability, wow. Like if he puts in a ball and we've got Welbeck or Rutter or anyone that can actually finish it, 9 times out of 10 it will end up in the back of the net. The fact that he's not just gonna run down the wing, lose the ball and go, I've lost the ball and stand there. You talk about work ethic. He's got it, especially in a Brighton shirt. As I've said for most of the players, but for him in particular, you wouldn't expect someone that's up the front end of the pitch, let's say, to be near a left back position. But he will play that overlapping role. He will overlap Ferdi Kadioglu. He will overlap Maxime de Kuyper. Sometimes they're the ones that are further up the pitch. Not only does he do that, he won't just pass for passing's sake. He'll pass knowing full well that ball is going to go forwards and he'll make a forward run. Yeah, okay, 9 times out of 10 he won't make that ball, but again, he'll track back even though he wasn't the one that lost the ball. He's definitely up there with being a threat when it comes to being a forward attacker. Obviously, taking on the defenders, winning fouls, doing what players don't like, which is getting to the byline and really trying to, if you like, ignite the contact with the defenders. and he's just really creative in his play. He'll run down the wing, and then he won't panic. He'll take a minute or two, and then make the right decision. And even if, like I say, if he makes the wrong decision, he doesn't just stand there and go, "Oh, I made a big mistake." He tracks the player that he lost the ball to, or he'd make sure he's tracking whoever's potentially running onto that ball. So rather than just be, "Oh, I lost the ball," his work ethic, he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to get back and help the defense." So for me, I liked your argument, Dan. But I feel like Minte is just going to edge it purely because of, as I say, the fact that it tracks back, the fact that he does win those fouls, and his speed alone.
Okay, so are you both going for your own players?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, well, I have made a decision about this, and the winner of that player head-to-head is Minter.
Okay, so we're 5-5.
You're 5-5 now. We have been going 45 minutes. It's a little bit longer than I wanted to spend on the combined 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision on who's edged the combined 11 myself.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
What is noticeable, and I think you can see that in the league table as well, is predominantly the Sunderland players are at the back and, defensive, and Brighton are attacking. And I think that's probably fair of both teams. When I look at those players, the arguments you made, and the combined 11, I think there is one team that edges it at the moment, and I think it's Sunderland. Brighton Van Dan, I think you put up a gallant effort coming back when you needed all those points. But I'm going to give Sunderland, Dan, the combined 11 point. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right, we're on 46 minutes. So this next one, I'm going to ask you a question now. I don't want War and Peace, Brighton Van Dan, so keep it to 2 minutes. And same goes to you, Sunderland, Dan. And this is, I want you to tell me the greatest moment your club has given you. Brighton Van Dan, you're on the clock now.
Greatest moment for me has got to be us getting back to back at Wembley against both Manchester clubs, especially when we was against Man United, and then Man City in the first year, and then the following year was Man United. Because for me, Wembley isn't somewhere that you go every day. So for me, that was one. I know we didn't win any silverware, but it was the fact that not only did we do it 1 year, we did it back to back. So for me, that's my defining moment.
And Dan Spedding?
My defining moment, it accumulated on the pitch. However, it wasn't necessarily on the pitch. It was me last year deciding last minute to jump down to London without a hotel booked or without a ticket for the playoff final. It was that moment in Trafalgar Square, the night before the match, about 30,000 Sunderland fans in Trafalgar Square having a drink. And the reason that meant so much is when I grew up, Sunderland were a Premier League club. We had to watch back-to-back relegations. We had to watch absolute Mickey Mouse owners running us through shit on Netflix. And it finally felt like we had our club back. To finish the moment off, we obviously went on to score a 96th-minute winner to come back to the Premier League. And I had to celebrate that amongst all the lovely Sheffield United fans because I could only afford a ticket in the Sheffield United end. So that's my moment.
Okay, who do I give the point to for greatest moment? Brighton Van Dan, you're not going to like this. And the reason why I have to give it to Sunderland Dan is, as a Man City fan, I grew up with us getting battered off United, relegations into Division 2, coming back. And what Dan has just described to me is like what I experienced when I went to Wembley watching City beat United in the semi-final of the FA Cup with the sun beaming down around all the City fans. And that's one of my greatest moments. So as soon as he started talking about that, he had the point. It's got nothing to do with him being my best friend, I promise you. But that greatest moment just resonated with me. And for that, I'm going to give Sunderland the point. Okay, so now we move on to predictions for Saturday's game. So what I want you to do is, I want you to give your prediction for the Saturday's game and the reason why you think that. and I'm going to go to Spedding first.
I'm pretty sure I remember, but let me just double check. So I did a prediction show last night. So if I see a different score now, I look like a bit of a bell end. So give us a second. We'll just make sure. Yeah. So I've picked Sunderland 1-0. I think it's going to be a game where Brighton are going to have a lot of the ball. We're going to be okay with that. Our plan will be to restrict them and stop them playing, which we can be very effective at. Brighton might have a few pop shots from distance, but I think ultimately getting on the second half, we'll start to get on the front foot. We'll start to feel like it's time to attack, and we'll get a winner at some point, and then we'll shut up shop.
And Brighton fan Dan, what's your prediction?
Interesting. So my prediction is Sunderland 1, Brighton 2. I think that at half-time it will probably be a 1-1 draw. I see this going at least until the 85th minute, until the next goal goes in, and then I feel like we will utilize our subs. Hopefully, we utilize our subs and get in behind them and score a late winner with the away end going mental.
Okay, so I'm not going to give a point to either for that. I just wanted your thoughts on predictions. Another quick question before we move on to another segment is, what are your expectations for your club next season? We'll start with Brighton fan Dan.
For next season, I would like us to be top 7 of the Prem. I would like us to fight for a European spot, and I would like us to invest in a few players to help strengthen the squad.
So when you say you like, I mean, I'd like City to win the quadruple, but do you expect Brighton to be up there?
I expect we should be. Yeah, I honestly feel like Brighton should be fighting in at least top 7 spots.
Okay.
And that's my opinion.
And Dan?
I expect that we're going to go out and recruit. I hope the recruitment goes as well as it had this summer. I'm not naive. That'll be very, very hard to replicate because I think we've had one of the best summer transfer windows of a lot of teams in the Premier League, being honest. We completely bought a new 11. What I expect is to start to push into the top half of the table. But what I expect is that we're going to be a lot better attacking-wise next season without sacrificing our solidness.
Okay. All right. Right, we're going to move on now to another segment. And this segment is, I asked you before we came on the show to construct your team's, your all-time five-a-side team from your club. Now, there were a few conditions.
It's just lifetime, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so in your life. So for me, like, I couldn't put Colin Bell in Man City. I never watched him play, only on videos. So this is in your lifetime, your all-time five-a-side. Now, whoever constructs, in my opinion, the better five-a-side team will win the point. So we'll start with Daniel Spedding. If you can give me your five-a-side team, please, buddy.
I didn't realise there was a point on this. I've went sentimental at one point, but my goalkeeper, I think, is a solid choice. He's done us proud. He's England's number one. But let's not forget, he started his career at Sunderland, Jordan Pickford.
Okay. Next player.
This one's the sentimental one because he'll always, forever have a place in my heart. Dan Ballard. Strong as an ox in the air. And if you want to see a little bit of drama, go Google Dan Ballard against Coventry. 121st minute. Sends us to Wembley.
Okay.
Midfield?
Yeah.
Only one. Granit Xhaka. Possibly the best player I've ever seen wear a Sunderland shirt in my life.
Fucking hell, that's a big claim.
Possibly. There's another one about to come. So I'm playing 2 strikers in this five-a-side. And the next one, I think Harry Kane may have joined this record now, but for a very long time, he was the only Englishman to win the European Golden Boot.
Phillips.
And that was Sir Kevin Phillips.
Yeah.
Not Sir, but he is now. And the next one, I'm definitely seeing this to barter favour with a judge. He's an absolute legend of Sunderland.
Niall Quinn.
I think he was a very underrated footballer as well, Sir Niall Quinn.
Wow.
Niall Quinn's disco trousers.
Those are the best.
Okay, so I've got your team, Brighton fan Dan. Give me your all-time five-a-side team for Brighton.
Okay, so Brighton used to play at the Withdean, so for me, some of these players are from there. So my goalkeeper that I've chosen is a goalkeeper called Mikkel Kuipers. He's our Dutch goalkeeper. This guy was one of the best shot stoppers I'd seen. Obviously, bear in mind that I'm 6 years old at the time.
What was his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
Mikkel Kuipers.
Okay.
So Kuipers.
Got
Anyways,
it.
yeah. So he was probably one of the best shot stoppers I'd seen in my time. His distribution was amazing, and that is the reason that he is in ahead of likes of Jason Steele, Verbruggen, Casper Ankergren that we've had in the past. The list goes on, but no one tops him. I've gone with a centre back partnership. Well, they both played centre back, so I've gone with, of course, the GOAT, that is Lewis Dunk. Obviously, I had to choose him because he's come through our academy. He's played every minute for us. He's been top quality, and he was one of my favourite players growing up. The other player that I have chosen, and I mean, he's famous for one thing, and if you haven't heard it, then I'm not sure if you guys knew it or not. But this person is famous for scoring a goal with his face, and that is Indigo Calderon.
Okay.
There's my YouTube for the night sorted after this.
Yeah, he scored a goal with his face. Exactly.
have to
I mean,
watch
come
that.
on, you're a player and you score that. It's great. My midfielder, we spoke about him earlier in the head-to-head that we had with our 11, and I've gone with Pascal Gross. I did have a few honourable mentions that I was like, I could put them, but even comparing them, I thought Gross would be the better player. And then up top, he's been one of my favourite players, and he probably will remain my favourite player, and that is Glenn Murray. He's also on the poster.
Murray, what a shout! Forgot about him.
Didn't you have Bobby Zamora at Brighton?
We did have Bobby Zamora, and he came back for us in the Championship as well.
So just to respond to Tom's Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson is one of my favourite footballers ever because I think he is the epitome of hard work and what keeping your head down does right. He's had a more decorated career than Granit Xhaka, but he's not as good a footballer as him, in my opinion. And he certainly wasn't when he was at Sunderland.
Okay, so I mean, I have to make a judgment of those five-a-side teams, and to be honest, part of me wanted Brighton to win this, so it was close. But I just think Sunderland's five-a-side team is much better, Dan.
Someone pulled on your heartstrings.
No, just look at the two teams. I mean, even with him putting a City legend in there, I just think the team is much better. I'm a little bit surprised by some of your picks as a Brighton. I think, obviously, I'm not a Brighton fan, but I think I could have probably picked a better five-a-side team than that for Brighton. But
you
said, right, the thing was, I could have picked more players, but you said we had to have seen them.
No, in your lifetime. They had to be playing in your lifetime. So you couldn't go back to the 50s, 60s.
Oh, well.
Anyway, okay. So Sunderland get that point, but it's still all to play for, okay? So although Sunderland are 3 points up, this last question is worth 3 points.
That's convenient, isn't it?
Oh, right.
It is. And I'll tell you why. It's the biggest question of the night, and this is what people want to hear you debate. So you're going to have 3 minutes each.
Okay.
And the question to you is, and I'm going to word this in a particular way. Now, no disrespect to Brighton, Dan. In my opinion, Sunderland are the bigger club. But I want you to argue, both of you now, who is the better club at the moment? So, the question to you both is, who is the better club right now? And we'll go to Daniel Spedding first to argue the point and the case for Sunderland.
So, who is the better club right now? I'm going to say it's Sunderland. I'm not going to touch on the history because We all know what would happen with that. I'm not even going to touch on the fans, so I don't think I need to do that either. The reason Sunderland are the better club at the moment is I believe we show more ambition than Brighton. Brighton have a wonderful transfer model that works brilliantly, but the goal of Brighton's model is to stay in the Premier League and make some money. Now, that's a wonderful ambition, and I have nothing against that. However, I think we're a more ambitious club. I think we have an owner who's grew up in a family where they were in charge of Marseille. He's used to competing for things. I don't think we will settle for being a selling club. We might need to sell one or two, but I don't think that will become our full transfer model. And that is the main reason I think we're a better club. I think we're going to have more ambition, and ultimately we will try and compete for things instead of settling for 10th to 15th in the Premier League.
You got one more minute, Dan. Do you want to use it, or are you going to pass it over?
I don't need it.
Brighton fan Dan, you've got 3 minutes to make your case for Brighton being the better club at this present moment.
All right. Well, as you said of yourself, we do know how to run a football club. We don't just go, oh, okay, we're going to sell our best player and then be done with it. We know how to reinvest. We know how to find the next wonder kid. Not only that, we have the fans that travel home and away. We've got fans that are based here and everywhere. The other thing I will say is that we've got a chairman and an owner that really, really invests in the club. They're not just in it about the money. They're in it about the fan base. They're in it about everyone. They've built us the terrace, which is a fan-based thing. They haven't built that because they knew that it would bring in a lot of money. They built it because they knew about the community, and that's what Brighton is. Brighton is community. Hence why the stadium is the American Express Community Stadium. We are a community, and that is how we are. In terms of the football, right now, yeah, okay, we might be not fighting for anything, but it doesn't mean that we haven't had Europe previously, and I feel like we could turn into a club that does fight for Europe. Hence why I said earlier that I feel like Brighton should be fighting for Europe next season. We should be in that top half of the table. We should show people that we're not just a fodder club. We are a club that deserve to be in this league.
You're on mute, I think, Carl.
Thank you for that, Daniel. So what we're going to do now is we are going to end the stream. And the reason why we're going to end the stream is we are going to put it out to the viewers on who has made the best claim that their team is the better club at the moment. If Brighton fan Dan wins, you will draw, and we will come back for a 5-minute segment on who is the better club overall. If you lose, Sunderland will win outright and have won every segment. That is the end of our head-to-head tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've had some right good talk on some certain subjects. We've had some wild takes from Brighton Dan, as always. At times, I thought he was his twin glory hole, but he's wearing a Brighton shirt, which brought us back down to earth. And that is the end of our show tonight. For everyone watching, thank you. Put in your comments on Facebook, YouTube, on who you think has won the head-to-head tonight. And we will see you all again next week on Miller's. Is it Miller's Monday now? Is that still on Monday? Yeah, Miller's Monday. We have a predictions show, and watch out for all of the snippets on TikTok, YouTube, and all the other platforms that we're on. But from me, Dan Spedding, Brighton fan Dan, that is the end of our head-to-head. Good night. God bless.
Enjoy it. Thanks, lads. Thank you.